I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call meeting order. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for this morning.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't at the August 7th special meeting, so I'm not gonna approve those minutes. I'm gonna approve the minutes for August 13th, 2024 that I was at.
Okay. I'm not gonna second them because I wasn't there. I'll second that. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. All abstain. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes August 7th. We'll second that. All in favor?
Abstain.
Aye. Okay, meetings attended. Sean?
Last week, we had a Board of Health meeting. I won't get into the specifics because Leah will be here later and she can go through all that. One of the biggest part of the meetings was probably Brian T. Had some, I want to call it illegal dumping, I guess, for lack of a better word, and a lot of trash in a couple of areas, and that was a pretty big area of discussion. So they're following up on it, and hopefully we'll get that resolved soon. Red Lion, I met with them again on the solar project and Moorfield Electric. I have a copy of their contract. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to get this to Adam for his review. And then once he's done, then we'll go and look at it together. I also have a document that was handed to me on the surtax that we put for the emergency services. This came from the Iowa Department of Justice from the state, and it says that they may be able to use the money for payroll. But then on the last paragraph, it says you should run this by your county attorney because if it goes sideways, he's the one that has to defend it. So I'm gonna also give that to Adam and have him review that and talk about that before we get too far into that.
And who was that from, Sean?
The state of Iowa.
State of Iowa.
From Heather Adams, the Assistant Attorney General.
Okay.
So it's a lot of governmental double talk, if you ask me. It says, yeah, you might be able to, but it doesn't specifically say that we can. The propane tank at the jail has been blasted. If you haven't noticed, it's all clean. I have pictures of it. A couple of little rusty spots, nothing too major, but I went out last night and looked it over and I smelled around the valve and I can still smell propane around the lower valve. It seems to be the connection coming up into the bottom of the tank. Now, I don't know if there's a stanchion inside the tank or not. I don't know what that particular part does. So I can smell it. So I think we really get it inspected before we paint it. I think now is the time to look it over before we actually throw a bunch of paint all over it.
We can get a copy of that drawing of that tank since it's a registered vessels.
Who do you want me to call and have that tank inspected? And if you do, who normally does it for us?
Well, I talked to Justin because getting the price of LP just mentioned something, we may have a leak in a tank, and they said they bring somebody in. So
Okay. Do we have any sort of a date on when that would happen?
I never went any further. I just asked them. I said, we have it on.
Would you like me
talk
to?
him today.
Okay, take care of that, because I don't want to see that tank. There is some bare spots on it. I don't want to see it out in the weather too long. I'd like to get paint on it. So I'll follow up and figure out what the paint needs to be, if you'll take care of that part of it. The only other thing is, I think Brandon might be here later. I'm not sure. I don't know if you saw an email. He was requesting the grounds here for the 27th for the trunk or treat. I don't think it'll be a big deal, but I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't sure if he needed to be on the agenda or not. I didn't think it was a big deal. If you're all good with it, I'll just let it go. It's okay.
I'm good.
Okay, that's all I had.
Chris? I had no meetings. What did you guys decide to do with the leaks on the roof last week? That was part of your agenda.
We got a quote to do the repair. The quote exceeded our allowance to
So it's got
go out for bid.
but
Yeah. And did we get anything put together yet?
No, you
Okay.
said you were gonna.
All
start
right, I'll
that.
get that to you. This week, last week was kind of busy for me, so we'll get that together, get it out so we can get active bids.
okay,
Yeah.
hope we can get it done before then.
I agree. I
Right.
agree.
That's all I have.
The only thing I had was three things we getting bids on LP and Blue Flame and. We'll talk to Justin about that possible leak. I will follow up on that first time here, so that I get a chance, I'll give him a call. We had some complaints. But I think it's all worked out about where we're gonna put the solar panels. A lot of them thought we was gonna use the gray area in the back and so. Get that everybody assured that we will not put them out there. Roads starting to get I think Jessica's able to grade, but the washboards on some of the hills and just had a couple of calls from that, but other than that, that's about it.
Well, this is the same as, other historic preservation things. Our commission would like to apply for a grant. Regional planning has done some of the basic work for us. And I want to show it to you. What I need from you today is approval of a letter, which I've written, of course. That we are trying to make outline some historic districts in Columbus Junction and in Wapello. I have to apologize for my Wapello map because I'm gonna give this one to the chair. Because I ran too many of the, too many of the junction ones around in yellow. So here's the Wapello one. Is anyone in the audience? Yeah, okay, Jim. Besides Jim, does anybody want to see the maps of the districts we're working on? Sure. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Randy, I'm gonna hand them to you and anybody else that there's, so there's one of each community. You see what I'm talking about? Okay, so historic districts, the reason for a district is to enhance property values, obviously, and protect investments, protect the unique character of the community's downtowns and the area that surrounds downtown in some cases. Tax savings for property owners, as well as access then, once they get on the National Register. Remember, this is a long process. If they get on the National Register, there's access to other funding opportunities for restoration. So those maps show the area that in an initial survey, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning believes that we might have reason to make them historic districts. So what we do now is we take those maps, we hire a consultant. I have already we have the bids from 2 consultants, which we have to do for the grant process. So we have some bids and then we apply for the grant. If we get the grant money, we work with some local people. I've already, Raymond Fisher has agreed to help work on the inventories for the buildings in Wapello, and Frank Best is going to help in Columbus Junction, I hope, as well as other documents that we have in the library and whatever. So the consultant goes through all the buildings, tries to identify the history on all of them, hopefully getting enough to make a district. And then we apply. So this is for the inventory and the consultant. And if in the end, the Historic Preservation Commission and the consultant and you, because I come back with the report, believes that we should apply for National Historic Preservation designation, then we do that. And then that's a whole nother process. Is that clear as mud?
Yes.
We haven't done a district before. Chris has been around quite a while and we've done a number of buildings, same process. And Brad's done this, Sean, I think we've done one since you've been, and our commission doesn't bite off a whole bunch. So this will be the project that we're working on probably for the next 2 years. But here's the letter that you approved, and Brad. we'll sign one today. It says that you approve us to apply for the grant, that's all, and because of the reasons that I outlined. Okay, just bumps your camera. It's all right, I think. I thought-
We can still.
Yeah, you can, yeah, okay, great,
Wapello is applying for a downtown Main Street grant.
yeah,
Is this gonna affect anything
No.
with that? Okay.
different government entities where the money, well, downtown Main Street probably comes from Department of Economic Development.
Yeah.
Historic preservation under the new organization at the state is also under economic development, but totally different bucket of money.
All right.
Yeah, so it'll be all right. Actually, we might be able to use that to support our, okay, and regional planning. So I see Zach is on. He knew that we were going to be on the agenda and I told him I didn't need him, but he said he would log in. So if you have questions, they are actually have, Zach has rounded up the match money. I'm not asking for any money from you. We get $2,000 a year. We'll probably use that as, and some money from the cities for the match on this grant. And Zach's online if you have questions that I can't answer.
So I choose the boundaries, I guess.
Zach, how did you choose the back?
Hi, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to a destination here, but I didn't have a whole lot to add to what Kathy said. I was just going to clarify on the grants that you just asked about. Just like Kathy said, they're two separate pots of money, two different grants. If anything, we can mention that we're applying for this in the facade grant application. And then, as Kathy also mentioned, we've talked to Wapello and Columbus Junction, and they're each. I guess I haven't verified with Columbus Junction yet, but I know Wapello passed a resolution committing $3,500, and I think Columbus Junction should have done the same at their last meeting, but I haven't got the confirmation yet. And then the remainder would come out of the little budget that you guys offer to the Historic Preservation Commission. So no additional expenses from the county.
What about the boundaries? How did you choose the boundaries that are on the maps? I gave them colored copies of the maps.
So Jared Lass in our office did that, and basically just doing a little of his own research on the history of the buildings, the age of the buildings.
Okay,
As kind of a preliminary boundary.
thank you.
So I see that there's a lot of residential involved in both of these maps. How does that help a homeowner by identifying them?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing as a district. I mean, there's the significance of the property and identifying that, but it would open up the door potentially to some of the same funding opportunities if they wanted to do some kind of repair or something. There's now I'm drawing a blank on the name of the grant, but there's another grant program at the state for properties either listed or eligible for the National Register. Historic tax credits fall in the same boat.
But when you make it a historic, doesn't that kind of keyhole you into
No,
putting in wood windows and stuff? No.
if you're taking federal money, yes. If you accept federal money, you have to, there are guidelines, but first of all, just because you're in the district doesn't mean you have to keep your building. You can tear it down. I mean, you still own the building, you do what you want.
Okay.
Applying for federal money puts you over that boundary and you go into an agreement, but otherwise, no.
I just didn't want us to do something that forced the homeowner to do something specific that.
No,
Okay.
that's not the case. But one of the things that is significant, if you talk to homeowners, if they call you and they say, what the heck is the historic preservation and regional planning doing? If they wish to do renovation or restoration on their building, they might wait a little while because what they do to their building may hinder their application for further money, because you want the building to have the look and feel of what it was historically. So if they rip off the facade and put something 2024 on, they may not be in line for further money and yeah. So waiting until we get through this process.
Makes sense. Excellent.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any questions?
Nope. Thanks for all your hard work.
You have to thank Zach, really.
Thank you, Zach.
And then
Haven't done a whole lot yet. Kathy's been a huge help, so I appreciate all her assistance in helping us kind of push this through and get it to where we're at. So, but excited for the opportunity, and hopefully we can get some money. I think this is could be a great thing for both communities.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for certified local government grant.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you,
Zach.
Zach.
So
Yep. Thanks again. Appreciate it, everyone.
Yep.
I need a signed copy. I can scan it to you, or you can scan it back to me. Either way. Oh, you're scanning it now to me? Yeah. Oh, yes.
I'm gonna try to anyway.
The fairgrounds was, yeah, I can ask them about them. But I'm not sure there's. Honestly.
We need to pay all the changes you can have them.
So can you just,
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a picture of it and send it right back to you. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy.
Public input.
I see you approved the minutes for the special meeting on August 7th. Are you guys still going to court September 4th on the Sam Wilson case? You're still going?
Yes.
Okay, yes, thank you. We'll do a 2-day trial.
On the public input, I'd like to talk about it, won't real like to get into the term, but I'll wait till Adam gets here. So,
Okay, yep. Sounds good.
not saying you guys don't know. I don't know. Let you guys.
That'd be good to have him here. Good morning.
well. So let's see. I attended a public health roundtable in Scott County on August 1st, talking about the public health alignment. Again, still no real answers, however, they continue to say there will continue to be a local presence in every county. I actually foresee they're using this as a process to take our public health foundational capabilities and further our work as public health. So they are, I think it's actually going to build public health bigger. We're looking at the health disparities in our communities and working towards making those improvements. So,
We hope that's
Again.
the direction it goes. Yeah.
yeah, nothing in the legislation until 2026. They're still saying that, and it's still very fluent, like they're having these roundtables throughout the state of Iowa and still listening to us and finding out what each community is needing, so.
Excellent news.
What's environmental health? Talked about it. I mean, that's kind of the one nobody knows what to do with here.
Yes, so,
DNR don't want
the-
it. Public health.
The one mentioned about environmental health talked about the data, so. Environmental health has always been, we follow these, we've got to get the wells and all that, the septics. That piece of it is still needed, but on the public health side of things, we need the epidemiology portion of it. So the data, like how is this affecting health? How can we improve it through environmental health stuff? So that's where I feel like they're driving environmental health. Again, those are my opinions.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know what that looks like at the end of the day. Other things we're working on, school starting next week, so we've been pretty hopping with immunization and getting kiddos up to date and ready to go. We were working with the school nurses, handling that. And flu season is approaching, so we will be rolling flu vaccine out here soon. Just working on our cost report as well, our annual cost reports.
Have you obtained a new flu vaccines yet?
Have they what?
Have you gotten a new flu vaccines that they had?
The new flu vaccines?
Well, they said new ones were coming out.
Well, every year we get
Yeah.
yeah,
You got them already?
we've started, they've
Okay.
just started coming in. I do know we are getting some high dose flu this year. So, we haven't carried that in the past.
Tell them about our Vax Care.
Oh, yes.
Part.
Our Vax Care program, we switched to provides, private vaccine for us without us purchasing it, and we are able to give that to more people. We're hoping to have some more clinics with it. We did find out that we can bill adult Medicaid with it as well, so and that is something we haven't been able to bill for other vaccines other than just flu.
We had our first
Yes.
year and they,
We've given, so they bought back all the private vaccine that we had, we didn't have to give it back to them, we kept it in-house. And then the buyback was in 3 sections, and we've met our first tier, so we should be getting our first buyback check on it's about 1,700 or so.
it's working.
Yeah, we're pleased with it, we're
Yeah.
still working,
Yeah.
and figuring it all out, but we're pleased
Yeah.
with it.
It's working.
Good. What else you got? Good.
I will have to say that Leah jumped into a big pool here and she's doing a great job as being a director, and the board is behind her, and you're doing a great job. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Jacob, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
You guys ready for me?
You betcha.
I've got, I'll just do my actual part first. So our program season is pretty well running to a close for our summer programs, at least. I talked to Lana and she gave me a bunch of numbers. They have just under 500 people that they saw this summer, just our 2 full-time and our 2 naturalist interns. They did an excellent job. Breland Randall and Griffin Schoonover were our seasonals this year. Griffin was here last year. This is his 2nd year attorney, just a hammer. And Breland was awesome too. She definitely stepped up. They are very hardworking, enthusiastic, and yeah, if they ever want to come back, we're gonna be thrilled to have them again. That 400 and some number was from day camps, libraries, campgrounds. They have programs at both libraries and campgrounds. The campgrounds was kind of new this year, and hit or miss on success, but it was either all or none kind of thing. Like the campgrounds, when they were when they were successful, they were awesome. Just everybody come and it was awesome. And then on the other flip side, you didn't get very many people. It was like 1 person showed up and you're like, oh no, what happened? But we're still tinkering and toying and making it better. That was also our language adventure day and our public paddling programs. Speaking of, we had one this past Saturday, and it was one of the better turnouts we've ever had. There was about 45 people between our boats and our people, or I'm gonna call them our people, people that signed up for the program, and then people that just knew that it was happening and just paddled in with them. They just saw the train of people and said, hey, let's go join them. And so there was a moonlight paddle at Snively, or I'm sorry, at Lakewood Essence. So I put in there. Yeah, it's pretty neat. On the maintenance side, we built some decks at one of our, at Chickapin Bluffs. That's basically done. We have our 1 more railing that we need to put up. It's really nice, way more steady than it was. I think there was some functionality concern last year, and so we tore it out and put up a new one. And then also Virginia Grove, we have a new fishing pier that we've heard some good news about. We have started doing, as our seasonals were out of our 3-month seasonal, so we just have our 6-month left. And he'll be on with us until mid-October. Either continue mowing or helping with our fall activities, are just more like timber thin improvements and running the skid steer, trailblazing, that sort of thing. We're also going to be doing more footbridge project for a Boy Scout project. And so that's really fun. I really enjoy when the scouts and youth get involved in doing projects with us, because it's just eye-opening to see what goes into a project and how you gotta, all the pieces you gotta think about. And I think it's awesome. You see those, oh yeah, I forgot we had to think about that kind of thing, or oh yeah, that's important too.
Excellent.
Yeah. We as a board, or I'm sorry, our board has decided to move forward with selling 7 parcels of the existing Hoover Nature Trail north of Tyson Foods. They are if you saw them and you drove by, you wouldn't know they were necessarily part of our Hoover Trail. They've been maintained by people and it's their yards. And so what they've decided to do is give them an opportunity to buy it first. Or they will give them an opportunity. So Sean said that during our meeting, he would work with me, making sure we do all the right stuff, check all the correct boxes of selling land and public hearings, all sorts of stuff like that. But I figured I'd just get it on everyone's radar. So if you hear something, it's not that we're selling the trail, and it's 7 parcels amounting to maybe an acre. They are like 20 by 20 squares, or not 20, 200 by 200 squares. Very, very small.
North of Tyson on Highway 7.
I know exactly.
Kind of a dashed line there and.
I've heard about it
Yeah.
for 16 years.
Pretty bad.
So we're just squaring some stuff off, and I assume, and I think it's been, maybe we should get it in true writing, that we're gonna use profits from that to improve existing Hoover Nature Trail or use it to connect our large chunks. We have 3 miles between here and Columbus Junction that's just waiting, just ready to go, so.
In Morning Sun at the trail there's a parking area
Mhm.
and it has telephone poles for barriers to keep cars out.
Yep.
2 of those poles have broken off below ground.
Yep,
And the grass has grown over them holes,
Yep.
which looks like pretty good liability there.
sure, we're gonna redo parking posts very soon, it's gonna be, we're gonna do all of them,
Yeah.
or we're gonna attempt to. We're gonna
We
do,
use that a lot, so.
yeah, absolutely, and we do know about it.
We
It's-
know where they're at.
I know where they're at too, yeah. Understandable. Yep, we're gonna fix parking lots this fall. In other news, I rewatched the Red Lion, or it was still Red Lion, the solar panels at the office there, and I just had some questions about moving forward and responsibilities of maintenance and such. Right now, conservation is mowing out there. You guys are gonna put, or I heard for liability reasons, we're gonna put a fence around panels. Is that still true?
Yes.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, what are we gonna put under the fence? Rock? We had to string trim a fence. It's not looking great.
Probably would have had to put something, barrier and then rock on it.
Sure, and then inside the fence, is it gonna be a gated fence and then you go underneath and mow it? I don't know if these are
No, I think you would rock it, I would,
rock the whole thing,
yeah.
okay, and then spraying. Is that something that's falls under our purview, or
Never thought of it.
seems like an awful lot of work for us? I mean, we already can't, quote, maintain it the way it needs to be, so.
We'll look into that.
Okay, along those lines, if we're gonna continue to mow it, which I think we decided. I'd like to see, we have a fund, like a whole budget for the office complex, right? So why don't we take that funding and kick it back to conservation? I have a budget or a worksheet for what it takes to mow. Based on number of hours to mow it, and acreages, distance to get there, gas, all that stuff. And we give that back to conservation. If there's already a budget for mow, or for a budget for that building, why are,
But
Our
that
budget
budget's
pays for it.
more than mowing, it's repairs, everything.
absolutely, but isn't that their budget? The office complex budget?
No, it's our budget that we use for that, the supervisor's budget. That we use for that, it's not the complex, we're supposed to be the overseer, the caretakers of the land and the building.
Sure,
And that money is used by approval of the 3 people up here to spend money to do repairs.
maintain the land.
Maintain buildings, usually what it's made for, we really didn't have, is there mowing? I don't, there's not a mowing dollar in there.
Why not?
We just never, you guys always took care of it.
I know, I think I'd like to get away from that. Why is it on us, you know, so.
Yeah.
Let's just, even if it's just, take it out of that and put it in art, like, just switch it. As long as it's,
Well, we're not gonna put it in conservation because we need that to do the building.
I understand, maybe raise it next year.
After last spring, I doubt it.
There's a bit of contention out there right now on the caretaking of the building, and there's. some
There always
issues with
has been.
weeds and
And it's because there's nothing official, that's what it is. We were, from what I heard, conservation was in that building first, and so they took on all roles of maintenance. And nobody has done any sort of dedication of whose job it is. I mean, we spend I'm not gonna say it officially, but I haven't looked at my sheet today. But I think it's anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 out there. Depending on who's mowing.
Now Brandon has taken over the area in front of the jail part and rocked and.
Yep.
Takes care of the mowing, that issue, but the contention is the rest of the areas with string trimming and spraying and. That was one of the meetings I had last week too, so.
I think on that budget, I think we can look at different ways.
I do think we need to sit down and have a discussion and figure out. How we want it maintained, first of all, and whose responsibility is. And if they're gonna get compensated, and if they are, how much? I think it's a conversation to have.
It just, yeah. Sheriff's office or public health side looks bad, it falls onto us. It's like, why should we have to do it? If we're gonna get compensated, then it does fall under our, like, that would make sense then, that if we are getting paid to do it, then we would get paid to do it.
We could put a line item on all 3 entities or 4 entities out there to pay for that.
Sure.
So you would be charged as much as you're building to upkeep the grounds. I'm just thinking of creative ways of, I can't raise taxes, I can't ask for more money, so somehow we gotta be where it takes it out of the budgets, the people
Sure.
have it out there. So
What if, I come up with a number. And then we can just move that money. If we're already paying, $6,000 to do it, we'll take that and put it into this one and then just call it what it is. There's a lot of consent. But anyway, just a conversation piece to perhaps look forward.
I would like to see a little bit more curb appeal in front of the conservation office too.
Absolutely. Have you been out there in the last
The
3 days?
swing looks like it's about ready to
Yeah,
fall into the ground.
Yeah. I myself went out and weeded,
Okay.
so I only got a little chunk, like I got half of it done, but.
Like last night, I think I was out there last night.
Correct.
Looked at the propane thing. So.
anything else?
Yeah, I do. On the solar panel thing, so fence, yes,
We'll worry about
Okay.
that, we'll get that, address that one.
that's good with me then. Then I think I have everything I need to say. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Snively's, have we
Yeah.
gotten the north side?
Today,
It's opening up
Yeah.
today?
well, we are looking at opening it
Opening
up
up
today.
today?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully this weekend.
Okay.
There's only a little bit more work. I gotta install electricity. Do a lot of rating.
I hadn't had any people ask, but I know we talked about it.
Oh, still pretty close for us.
Last big weekend for camping.
Yeah, it's coming up. We'll get everything will be
Okay,
ready for later.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, put it in there for a number, and we know it's 9. So we can
Oh,
take-
I have another thing to add. Is it all right if I go back?
Yeah,
What do we do with toxic waste?
what do you mean, what kind of toxic waste you got?
Well, like,
What, yeah.
so say, yeah, like anything really, because I think like the tube bulbs, you can't throw those away in our transfer station. That's wrong. And I figured if we can't throw them away, every other entity is not throwing them away. So what do you guys?
There's what's the name of that company that, out of Quad Cities that takes care of that?
Safe clean,
Yeah, Safe Clean.
safe clean.
So is it, so like if, is we taking a huge truck up at one time or are we
No,
paying
they usually come down, don't they?
Yeah,
for secondary roads or?
I don't know about light bulbs, but like used oil.
Yeah, all that stuff. We've got, yeah. We've got a container for it now.
Any way you could put a list together of
Yeah.
all the stuff and the quantities? I mean, is it 25 gallons of oil? Is it 400 gallons? of oil?
Sure, and the oil is not, we have a containment unit, we have to.
So we can
get
tell
that,
them.
yeah,
You
No,
can tell them what they're taking.
okay.
Safe Clean.
Safe Clean, and they come down to the county,
No charges.
okay,
It's not free.
sure, can we pool our resources, like us, everybody, and just pile in one big thing, like a dumpster?
I don't know who else would have toxic waste, but
Sounds like it's your waste, so I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean,
I don't know if anybody else.
nobody else,
thinks
we're just like, where are we putting fluorescent light bulbs? They have to go to Quad Cities, Muscatine doesn't take them anymore either. Somebody's going somewhere with them.
the one they got mercury in or something.
Well, all of them at the courthouse, oh, most of them are LEDs anymore, so
Okay,
they
yeah.
don't have the older bulbs, like the courthouse is all completely LEDs.
Mhm.
Secondary road is completely LEDs.
It's
The
fire
place with the lion, so they're all can be trash. Now, we couldn't do out there at that building because it wasn't a grant available through REC. We
Yeah.
could do it through Alliance, so that's why you're the only one in that area still has that.
Sure. Use fire extinguishers?
Used fire extinguisher.
I don't think you can throw them away either.
Are they dry, chemical?
Ooh. ABC,
No,
ABC will take them back.
don't think it would.
cool,
Yeah, they
Yeah, recharge them.
Recharge them.
correct. Okay, and we get them and, do all this stuff, but do they expire eventually, right?
Every
Yeah.
year, you're supposed to have them inspected.
Sure, we have them inspected, but then if they expire,
Well, I've
Take it
never,
back and recharge it.
yeah,
okay,
I've had a couple that's 10 years old, they just go through and hydro them and recertify them.
okay, that's fine, I'll talk to them.
Why don't we just get a list?
Yeah, I'll get a list,
We can,
absolutely. I just figure somebody's doing something with fluorescent light bulbs. Just
Well,
to- as
you're the
an-
only one that has the older ones out there, right?
Yeah.
So
Sheriff thought of them, yeah.
they just LED, I think they went through a lot of LEDs, didn't
Holy
they?
smokes, all
Yeah.
right, well, maybe we're behind the times then.
yeah,
Okay. I'll ask around.
Good.
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Come on.
Yes, two of you maybe remember I was in 4 or 5 years ago to get Clarence to build a house out there on E Avenue, the dirt road. Used to connect the two points, it no longer does because of bluff slid off into the lake. And you approved for me to have access to my house on a right of way to get to my house. I have recently bought a portable 30 by 30 Quonset shed that I want to put up out there, and I had the county bring in excess road dirt where they dug out ditches and they filled an area there just down past my house. It was bluff before, and I've got some flat ground there to put this Quonset. It'll also stick out into the road right away, but I own all the ground nobody can use that, or there's no reason for anybody to use that road. Mrs. Cook owns the other side of the road, and at that time I had a letter from her saying she didn't mind me putting a building there whatsoever, because they have access to their fields from which is now the new highway. And I just wanted to make sure there was no problems if I put that building on that road.
Well, I don't know, is that road been closed?
No,
No, it's a class D road now. I mean, it's there and there's two, there's two properties to the.
yes, on the other side of the washout.
Well, there's the one the guy from Missouri bought it. And he was planning to do something there. I don't know if he ever will, but that's still a property there, so. I don't think that. Unless we abandon the road and everybody signs off on it, I don't think we can build things on right away. I don't think that works.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I built a house on it,
on the right of way.
yes.
I don't, well, if that was done, that was before my time, so.
And the building is portable, and you're still gonna have access through the road. I'm not stopping traffic from going, if anybody would ever want to go down the road, they still could.
I think that if you want to do something, it'd probably be something that should go through zoning first and all that, and not directly to the board, I guess that would be my.
That's what I was just gonna say, you have to go through zoning adjustment, board of adjustment.
Oh, we go through me first. It'll be an application.
Yeah.
I deny it. The reasons why. We go in front of the planning and zoning commission, make sure that they held up my deal. And then we would go through the board of adjustments. And then. It'd be the same thing. I mean, but you cannot build on somebody else's land, no matter what. be like me wanting to put a shed up in your sweet corn patch so I can get my Corvette closer to the highway. It ain't gonna happen.
No, that's not the answer you wanted to hear, Mom, but.
I had one other thing, a couple other things that I wanted to bring up to the board. One is that the county is constantly facing budget crisis. And spending too much money and not enough money coming in. And we are constantly maintaining roads for the federal government to go no place out through the Iowa bottom. And I see no reason why we cannot have the federal government pay us for maintaining those roads or just quit maintaining those roads. It's an expense we don't need to acquire. And the second thing I wanted to bring up, I know we're gonna have elections on supervisors coming up, and I'd like to see a forum. We're gonna be bringing in 2 new supervisors, and we have a bunch of young people that has applied for the job, which is good, but I'd like to see a forum where we had a town hall meeting where these new supervisors could get up and what their stand for and be able to ask questions.
They had one before the primaries at Morning Sun, and they're looking at, Farm Bureau's been with me, and they're looking at teaming up with the Republicans and putting one on. So it's in the works.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I think there's 9. The people took out papers and if everybody turned them in, I think there's 9 candidates. That's a lot of people.
I do have one other question on this business on building on somebody else's ground. When I built my house, the county surveyor come out and he says, well, the center road is basically here, did no surveying whatsoever. And I have no idea where the center of that road is. Can somebody come out and find the center of that road for me?
Well, there is no county surveyor. There's nobody on our staff who's a licensed surveyor. Probably what should have happened, because we've had a couple of these issues where, Elric, for example, that, it would probably best to have a proper land survey of the area to do that. If there's a question on the right of way that's there, I can take a look at it and see what our records show and all that, so.
Yeah, there was some question whether it was a 40-foot right of way or a 60-foot right of way, and I really never got it.
Sure. Yeah, if it's a 40-foot easement there, that it would probably be a little bit easier to build around than if it's a 66, so. I can put our guys on doing the research to see what it is. Generally, if a road is established after a certain date, I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but like 1870, if it was established after that, it was established as a 66-foot right away. Obviously, before that, we had cow trails that were roads then, so. Something we can take a look at, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else, Mom?
That does it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Al,
Actually, I need to tag team a little bit here with Adam. He and I met with those folks out there working on the K Road, and we were able to get them to agree to turn the lights back on, open the road. That they specifically want a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit from Lance's Bins all the way to 61. The big kicker is they want the thing enforced. They want people to be written tickets. They don't want, apparently they've had people run the light and go through their high enough rate where some semis actually move those plates. So what I'd really hate to see happen is have that open up and then some idiot go through there and wreck it for everybody. So I've already talked to the people at Tri-Oak. As soon as we have a date, they're gonna put it out to all their electronic media. I've talked to both Adam and Brandon about going down and doing the same thing at Meeker's Landing. And I think that, and Brandon also said that they've got some software where they can spread the word in a hurry, and he's committed to using that. I think it ought to be on the county's website, have your IT guy figure out how best we disseminate that information, but the thing is, it's gonna be 25 mph strictly enforced. And you know, when it comes down to when 99 opens up, and I've been told that that's gonna be the end of September. You know, at that point, maybe we could put some fines out at perhaps, and some of the message signs around the county, they may be able to plaster that so people that are traveling can see it. I just want to make sure that the communication doesn't drop. And then I think if Adam willing, I think that we need to get back out there next week and tell those people what our plan is.
So,
And
yeah,
Go
I do have an update on the timing. I was able to talk to the DOT construction engineer in charge of that, and then the inspector I talked to today. It sounds like the contractor who does the patching is gonna be there sometime next week. So that is good news. So basically what happened is they closed the road to put piping across it for the new interchange and all that, right? Well, while it was closed, the road was closed, and the contractor found out he really liked just going back and forth and not having to do the light thing. And they were intent on taking advantage of that and keeping it closed probably till the end of October, November, because it's just really convenient for them. Through our meeting, we were able to convince them that you know, that was good for them, but it put costs onto the county. So, they have agreed to come and patch that back to allow it to be open to a return to the light thing. I touched base with Brandon last week, said here's the situation, you know, that all that. So they are going to work on it next week. I'm guessing the week after Labor Day, so at some point, the week after Labor Day, that thing will be back open. We've got signs, be up there at the end of this week, hopefully, so we'll be ready to have a 25 mph speed zone when that thing is open after Labor Day. Communicated with the inspector at the DOT, who's in close contact with the contractor, and I think we're all good on that, so. The end of next week or so, we will put things out on the engineers Facebook page, which has a couple thousand people, and it usually spreads like wildfire then. That it's gonna be open, and it is gonna be enforced and all that, so.
I've had some conversations with Brandon. He's gonna move the speed trailer out there.
Yeah.
And he is gonna put added patrols on that road. Now, they're not gonna camp out there 24/7, but they are gonna hit a little harder. And they're also gonna go up north, and I contacted the state patrol. Cause apparently there's some speeds around the bypass on 92 that they're going a little fast.
Mhm.
So they're gonna start patrolling that one pretty hard too. Start slowing some people down.
Brandon mentioned that, you know, he was gonna talk to the patrol and see if they can control some of the H-22, I mean, it's their project.
I'm sure.
Well, I think legally it's a different thing, because H-22 is not the official detour, whereas X-17 and G-36 are. But yes, I think everybody from the DOT to us kind of understands the situation here, and really it's gonna come down to our citizens and Parker's going through just to follow the rules and be good to us citizens through this, because I mean, the contractor's got a lot of dirt. I mean, he's got a lot of work to be done, and the DOT in expediting the bridge project over has kind of thrown a wrench in them, so. Everybody just kind of needs to be on their best behavior here, so.
Well, we'll let Brendan do his job, and if it isn't being effective enough, we'll give him the feedback and he'll turn the dial up.
I think all you have to do is put it out on Facebook, the first 10 people that
Yeah.
get fined, that fine will be 2x, just construction zone. Let people know that it's gonna cost them
You know,
dear.
not everybody in the county goes down that road. It's usually local people and.
And that's why I thought we needed to maybe
Take
talk
care.
to the people at Meekers. A lot of the business going across that road isn't raised in Louisa County.
No,
And the two options, you know, at Ohio, there's a minimum of 1,000 loads that go over that road in the fall, and that's the bare minimum. But when Meeker's Landing is going, you want all those semis going through Main Street in Mediapolis?
Yeah, wow.
It'd be a disaster.
Yeah, we don't
There'll
care.
probably be more beans go to the river because of Eichelberg. Isn't taking beans. So you might be able to add another 300 trucks or more to it.
excellent.
Good job.
Yeah, sounds good. So you want me to move on to the rest of my meeting? Or else-
Yeah,
Holiday.
Other things I did last week, Wednesday, I met with Jacob, and Scout out at Blankwood and took a look at the bridge project. We again came together Thursday and kind of will hash out a design based on materials they have and things like that. So we're working with them some. The bridge, the crossing at Hewitt's, bridge is all in, concrete is done. They're finishing up kind of their site work here today, tomorrow, and hopefully get the road back open tomorrow. But that's good there. Plan was to move to Kemper's, so we've hauled a bunch of riprap in there, but we can't do that because I'm gonna put them on your road to get that patch done before the road spurs back up. Anyway, we're working on things there. Kind of thing to be aware of. So I was visited by a unsolicited truck salesman last week, and it kind of got me thinking about this thing. The EPA has their diesel exhaust rules coming up, and that's going to cut emissions by 80%. And in order to do that, these diesel engines are gonna have to do things that they're not designed to do. They put extra things on them, and apparently our Cummins' most popular engine is not gonna be able to be used anymore, and they're gonna have to invent. So I talked to Mac, and it sounds like 2027 there's gonna be a $30,000 surcharge on engines. In order to comply with this new standard. So looking ahead, I may need to update our truck purchasing schedule to maybe get another one before those new standards in. Because talking to both of them, they're like, you're not gonna want a first generation one, because the things they have to do to these engines to make them fly isn't gonna be good. So anyway, I'll get into that later on, but just kind of heads up that, you know, with all the tax changes and inflation, and everything, there's inflation, but then there's government regulation, which just adds $30,000 to a truck that really doesn't help us all. So, and that's what's going on there. Mike and Justin are out spraying still. It's still mowing and blading and things like that. I am going to the ISAC meeting on Thursday. It's Wednesday through Friday, but I'm just going to go on Thursday. So other than that, I don't know. Any questions for me? Anything going on?
No. People will be happy on the K road because I've had a lot of phone calls.
Yeah. Well,
school starts on Friday and during harvest and all that. And I drove down it today and the dust control is about gone.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we can get through a week or two here, so.
You imagine 6 semis meeting a combine?
Going down the river road, right? I know.
Well, or even the detour north of Fairview Church.
Mhm. They're all narrow roads. It was,
Yeah.
the culverts was built in the 20s, so they're only 18-foot roads at the best.
Not enough.
Anything else, Adam?
Mike and Justin are going to the Highway 92 meeting, which began at 9, so. My understanding there is that they've had some issues with some gas pipes and maybe lack of planning or something on that, but. Anyway, they're working through it, so they might not get as far as they planned, but I'll have a better update on that next week, so. I don't know, just progress, I guess, here, so.
Yeah. Well, nobody's happy during construction. When you got road closures and.
Yeah.
But it's a,
Like it once done.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's. What you gotta do as part of progress.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if 161 is done and 192 is done, both will be safer. I mean, you've got some spots on 61 where we all know people who have been injured or killed there, and same on 92. So it's part of progress, I guess. So
How much is done on 92?
oh, well, my understanding is they've got the pavement out west of the county line and they're prepping to get paved. I think in September, they're gonna come in and do a mile a day there.
Concrete or asphalt?
Concrete, so. Yep, that's what I know, so.
So when they come east, how far are they gonna go? From where they're at, Wheelies, basically.
The plan was to get the first half of the year was to get to W66.
Yeah.
I caught her and they aren't there yet, so. The plan for this construction year was to get all the way to Wheelies, and I don't know if that's gonna.
What was the plan for next year then, from Wheelies east to?
And that's gonna be a little trickier. I mean, there's a lot more, you have to
Yeah,
get out in the hole there, and that's gonna be wet and all this kind of thing, so.
affects a lot of businesses too.
Yeah. Another thing that popped up this week, we had typically bought salt from Mershman's down in Burlington, and I talked to the guy the other day, and he's getting out of business. Not that wasn't somewhat profitable for him, but the regulations and just dealing with everything was too much for him. So the contractor or the supplier who he buys from, I think it's somebody at the river terminal down there, is gonna handle that business. Once the transfer is complete, they'll get a hold of us. I do have an opportunity to buy the remainder of their salt over that, but we just don't have anywhere to put it. So, anyway, that's my best last year for it. Building that. Anyway, that's
Yeah, didn't they say something, or maybe you mentioned it, do we need an ordinance for changing?
no, it can be a work zone thing. So good. We have to do that, so.
Anything else, Adam?
Nope. No.
Okay, did everybody see the construction ambulance?
No.
There
you guys.
Yeah. I had about 40, you gotta talk now.
Hey, Brian, how's the
Signs down at
getting those trashy areas cleaned up
Next week I go down, take another picture,
Well, yeah.
send my second notice, give them 15 days, and then I'll turn it over down.
Right. Okay.
So,
very good, he's on vacation this week,
working on it, so.
yeah. Thank
Get
you.
back in there.
Glad to see you back.
Good. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, yeah,
I told him wait till he was here.
so, last time we talked about it, you know, what lighted signs were gonna be a couple $1,000. If we wanted to do the whole feedback loop thing, it'd probably $5,000. Again, when we pave it, I'll put the rumble strips in there in 2026. I guess the question for the board and everything is, I guess, is there the road and county's responsibility on this thing, or what do you guys think?
Well, you're gonna put up 2 signs, right? Not just one way.
Right, so
One on each
if
end.
I'm adding, you know, a sign, to add a flashing light to existing is $500 a sign, so $1,000 there. To put in like a flashing feedback, hey, you know, here thing, it's probably $3,000 to $5,000 there, so.
A solar sign, flashing corner sign would be, a piece would be 3,000. Or for a pair.
A pair just to flash BB
Well,
is 3,000, and to say your speed is whatever.
you got speed signs for that, but I think it's something to wake somebody up or be aware before you get that corner, because that's what the problem is you're on that corner before you see anything. Or endangering,
Daydreaming or drunk or texting.
nobody's ever been picked up there, so.
Well,
Not alive,
Huh?
not alive.
We can see people.
What all do that over there, right?
what's that?
To date, what all have you?
We've got curve signs that meet all the standards, but
Have we done anything since this discussion came up?
no, we haven't, because we talked about cost and we were.
I didn't know if we put anything out, new speed signs or anything, that's what I was asking.
I don't know. So I don't know, I guess, what your, you know. What are your thoughts? What is the county's responsibility to go beyond the standards, I guess, to.
Just provide a safe corner, that's our responsibility, as safe as possible, but,
Probably one of the sharpest corners in the county, all that.
Well, we've got curves out there on, by Wyman, there's one there, and,
On Edge one side.
Right.
yeah, everyone's not just that, so.
You're right.
I guess it would be to attempt to protect a business, I guess.
Yeah, right, the ones out there at Wyman and Morning Sun. If they miss the corner, they're just going out into a field, or they're not going through a building or hurting anybody, so that's would be the difference. I'm okay with a flashing light. If you guys wanna try a flashing light, I'm okay with that. I don't know if I wanna spend thousands and thousands on speed numbers and all that, but
Mm.
It's got a speed number on there. It's just you don't see it time.
Yeah.
It's.
local people pretty well know, but it'd be the people that don't live here, they're, you know.
I think we have a building problem fixed. We got red, blue lights up there. If you can't see that, it's just that corner is so steep. It's a 90-degree.
I think it's 100% driver error.
And what
Oh, absolutely. You got 2 long stretches in front of that little turn, and people are blasting down the highway, and holy crap, there it is.
Honestly, I think the more dangerous spot is coming off the bridge where it goes from concrete to asphalt, because I don't think. I think we.
That corner wasn't engineered right.
I don't think maybe we spent enough money on that curve.
That turn tightens.
And that'll be addressed.
And there's been a.
When we do
foot out
asphalt
there.
in 2026, but.
Yeah.
So state.
But you got different signs there too. You got a progress against sign going around that corner. I don't know anybody put off that corner in the last 5 years.
Oh.
These people. go
Look
off.
into it. I don't know if the county needs to spend a lot of money. There's a little bit of buyer beware here. You knew when you bought it that it was.
I'm not worried about the building. The building's fine. I'm
Right,
saying
we're
people coming
worried.
off going into cornfields and missing it, and hitting your stop sign there at Oakville. They've run over that twice now. They've run off that corner in that cornfield 3 or 4 times. They've never come close to that building. I think we got that solved. The building is not the problem. It's a corner itself. People don't see it coming. It's not.
I can, we can probably spend the money to put flashing lights on existing signs, I guess, I think. I don't think it works, but it wouldn't hurt anything to try.
If you move the speed limit back 40 yards. I mean, it does creep right up on you, oh, I better, of course, I know, but the 30 mile, it's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit in it.
But that's a state road, you'd have to get there.
No, it's our road.
It's only our road, right?
Send them the bill then.
So I could put a flashing light on the speed limit sign. So hopefully there people will, hey, oh, we are serious and it's
It,
25
it's
road.
worked at Let's, cause it does draw your attention to that sign coming
Yeah.
at the Let's, and you're like, oh boy, better slow down.
Yeah,
Okay. That sounds
Sounds
like
good.
very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's all good. Thanks, guys.
And we got. Yeah, you better take it.
I haven't seen the Columbus Junction.
He's got,
Oh, okay, all right.
claims.
Haven't looked at them yet.
Yeah, about 2/3 the way from.
Al, how many was at that meeting the other day when you was out there?
Well, there were a couple of people from the DOT, Wayne County, Adam, myself, and the new construction. 8, 9.
Isn't that Lex, the universal room that's got compromised?
Think of the new address to manage stuff too. It's more secure.
I'll make the motion on the claims, just so it's on the table. I'll make a motion to accept the claims for this month in the total of $222,485.68.
I'm gonna finish before
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not rushing it. Can I keep the Louisa County ambulance report for our meeting coming up? Can I keep this for our meeting that's coming up, the Louisa County?
I need to take a copy of it.
Okay.
It should
It
be.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to have the current information, so when we have the meeting, we can
You know, if are they getting a more favorable rate now since they've been 2.5 years? Are they charging
According to that, I'm still in the hole. I know. That's why I wanted to.
I thought that was starting.
Well, it's supposed to be, but I haven't asked that specific question, so.
I'll second Sean's motion on the claims.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right,
Claims motion approved. Kim, did you get that number that Sean?
are we done? You want a motion for adjournment?
You've seen the payroll, didn't you? Yeah, all those.
Yeah. Changes are rolling around, so everybody's got that back, so. I'll take your motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See you later. Take care.
No, I think Kathy Vance did.
Oh, was it Kathy?
Adam
Oh,
picked
okay.
them up before he
Brad,
said.
you said you didn't want your copy of the claims the last time you did the claims. People get all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how many people have turned
Hey, Bill.
papers back into?
Two of the independents.
Adam Boyson.
Yes.
How do you get notified?
Who's the other one? Can you say?
Yeah, Sam Brady.
Council. meeting.
Sam Brayton?
Yes.
Mike, email everybody.
You see the mayor?
So you can just email this.
I think you might be already on there, but I'll make sure you're.
Okay.
Jim said something to me too, so, yeah, it's gonna be after Labor Day, it's gonna be in September. And then it's
You also have to post it like every other meeting.
Came up with a 25 mile an hour sign up.
Probably should. I mean, it's a public meeting.
Yeah.
Well, there already was one there.
Yeah, but they don't want to.
What did you guys end up doing? with
That's what
those
we're
churches?
moving on.
Nothing.
No, it's been hard there, what you said. It's on balance.
Right or wrong, it's still there. Right or wrong, it's still there.
Just, I don't get to all the meetings.
Right, things are getting, the cans
And we're flat.
the cans getting kicked down the road. Yeah, so.
I understand that.
They're saying it's payroll the week after Labor Day. That's what.
Could be, yeah. Could be, yeah. All right, all right.
Thank you. Okay. On to other things.